study techniques is to examine how people study and how they do to study. It is strategies that are put in place to make studying more effective. In this video, we will look at how study techniques manifest at Rhodes University. This concluding on strategies students can use to help them improve their study techniques.
In this video, we interviewed 12 Rhodans, of which 4 were first years, 4 were second years, and the other 4 were third years. We have thus drew up graphs to indicate our results of our findings. In this graph, we can see that the majority of our participants are visual learners, which agrees with the statement in the beginning of the video stating the majority of the population are visual learners. In this graph, it indicates the common study techniques. In our results, we noticed that taking notes was the most common amongst our participants. Also noticed that as the years progressed, taking notes becomes less of a technique. Instead, students rely on other study techniques. Rereading and summarizing are the least used techniques due to their non-effectiveness and time consuming. Lastly, in this graph, we see that it represents the effectiveness of the technique. 51% of our participants stated that their study techniques were not effective. Majority of the 51% came from first and second years. This is because the adjustment of the students that they have to make when entering university. Thus, the students have to adjust the way of studying to accommodate the course that they are doing in university.
In order to be a successful and active learner and/or student, one has to use a study technique that works for them. There are multiple and various study techniques that people use to either study, work, or implement when doing academic tasks and assignments. These are not always effective and do not guarantee active and applied learning. Study strategies and techniques are generally critical to success in school and are considered essential and useful for learning throughout one's life. The most important strategy of all has to be effective time management. Keeping things such as calendars to mark term and year assignments, tests/exams, and practicals is absolutely crucial at the beginning of each and every semester. A student, especially at Rhodes University, you have to create an intricate balance between doing things you love and enjoy and doing your work. Distractions are common factors in any environment, and self-control is essential in order to survive. Listening and note-taking. As we have established in the graphs given, majority of Rhodes University students use note-taking as a study technique, but only 48% of those interviewed students feel that this form of study techniques is effective. The reason being is that note-taking on its own is not an effective study method. It is only a small part on the road to successful learning. Firstly, going to class is important. There is usually no substitute for the real thing. This means that although those journeys are strenuous, they will be beneficial in the long run. Secondly, coming prepared to lectures means that you already won half the battle. Printing out slides and lecture notes from Are You Connected and thoroughly going through them as a Rhodes University student is part of a healthy and balanced diet. Thirdly and lastly, review your notes on a weekly basis so as to prepare for the exams in advance. There is nothing more painful than walking out of Alec Mullen's hall and walking to your res after a very tough exam.